The Galactic Council chamber erupted in chittering laughter as Ambassador Zexai finished reading the latest intelligence report from the Sol system. The crystalline being's refractions cast rainbow patterns across the assembly hall as its body shook with amusement. "They still use chemical propulsion," wheezed General Vorthak, his 6 arms slapping against his chitinous thorax. "Primitive rockets that take them months just to reach their nearest celestial neighbor." "And their weapons," added Counselor. Yleth, her telepathic voice dripping with disdain as it echoed in every delegate's mind. "Crude kinetic projectiles and chemical explosives, how quaint." High Chancellor Drexmore raised a scaled hand for silence. The ancient reptilian had presided over the Council for 3 centuries, watching dozens of species join their galactic civilization. Earth's humans had been under observation for 50 years now, ever since they'd achieved nuclear fission. By all accounts, they were developing slower than any species in recorded history. "The humans present no threat," Drexmore declared, his voice carrying the weight of absolute authority. "Their mathematics are adequate but unimaginative. Their physics, understanding is centuries behind our least developed member worlds. We shall continue observation protocols and revisit potential contact in perhaps another 1,000 of their years." The council members dispersed, returning to their vessels and stations, confident in their superiority. Earth was nothing more than an amusing curiosity, a backward world full of soft, short-lived creatures who still believed they might one day travel between stars. 3 months later, every sensor array in the outer rim systems screamed warning simultaneously. Captain Cathresh of the monitoring station Vale's Edge stared at his displays in disbelief. The massive Zelenite's 4 eyes focused and refocused, trying to process what he was seeing. "Sir," his communications officer stammered, "we're detecting a massive energy signature moving through hyperspace. The distortion patterns, they're unlike anything in our databases." "Origin?" Cathresh's voice carried the rumble of shifting stone. "Sol system, sir. It's coming from Sol." The captain's blood chilled. Impossible. Humans couldn't even leave their solar system, let alone access hyperspace. Yet the sensors didn't lie. Something vast was approaching at velocities that defied their understanding of human technology. When the ship dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of Proxima Sector, it sent shockwaves through the galactic community that would be felt for generations. The vessel defied every principle of known starship design. Where galactic ships were elegant curves designed to slip through spacetime like knives through silk, this human construction was a brutal symphony of angles and armor plating. It stretched nearly 2 kilometers in length, bristling with weapons that radiated energy, signatures the Council's best scientists couldn't classify. But it wasn't the ship's appearance that shattered their assumptions. It was what happened when 3 hegemony patrol cruisers moved to intercept it. The humans didn't hail them. They didn't negotiate. They didn't even slow down. The lead cruiser, Stellar Pride, had survived conflicts across 17 systems. Its shields could deflect plasma cannons that could melt continents. Its armor had been forged in the hearts of dying stars. The human ship fired once. Stellar Pride simply ceased to exist, not destroyed, erased. The weapon that struck it created a sphere of absolute nothingness where the mighty cruiser had been, space itself seeming to collapse inward before snapping back to normal. The 2 surviving hegemony ships fled. Their crews would spend years, in therapy, trying to forget what they had witnessed. Word spread through the galactic networks faster than light itself. The humans, the primitive, weak humans, had not only achieved interstellar travel, but had done so with technology that rendered the galaxy's most advanced civilizations obsolete. Emergency sessions convened across every major government. Intelligence networks activated dormant assets. Military commanders pulled dusty defensive protocols from archives, praying they would be sufficient. The human ship, designated as UHSS Prometheus by the intercepted transmissions, continued its journey toward the galactic core. It ignored all hails, all attempts at communication, all offers of parley. It simply moved through space with the inexorable certainty of a force of nature. When it finally arrived at the Galactic Council's seat of power, the massive space station Unity's heart, every available warship in the sector had been mobilized. 300 vessels from 47 different species formed defensive perimeters, their combined firepower capable of sterilizing entire worlds. The human ship stopped exactly 100,000 kilometers from the station. For 6 hours, it simply waited, silent as the void around it. Finally, a transmission cut through every communication channel simultaneously, a feat that should have been technologically impossible. Greetings. The voice was calm, distinctly human, and spoke in perfect galactic standard. I am Admiral Sarah Chen of the United Human Stellar Navy. We've been listening to your communications for quite some time. High Chancellor Drexmore found, his voice after several moments of stunned silence. Admiral Chen, we welcome you to our space. Your technological achievements are most impressive. Thank you. Chen's tone remained pleasant, conversational even. We've learned much from observing your civilization, your mathematics, your physics, your understanding of the universe, all very elegant. Murmurs of relief swept through the council chambers. Perhaps the humans could be reasoned with. However, Chen continued, and the temperature seemed to drop several degrees. We've also been listening to your debates about us, your assessments of our capabilities, your discussions about when we might be ready for contact. The silence that followed stretched like a held breath. You assumed we were primitive because we chose simple solutions. You mistook careful development for inability. You saw our restraint as weakness. Chen's voice never rose, never became angry, but something in its steady cadence made the assembled delegates shift uncomfortably. We learned to split the atom before we learned to leave our atmosphere. We solved faster than light travel before we bothered with fusion power. We developed weapons that could unmake reality itself before we built our first starship. Not because we couldn't do these things in a different order, but because we chose to do them when we were ready. A new voice joined the transmission, older, carrying the weight of authority. This is President Martinez of United Earth. We have a proposal for the Galactic Council. Drexmore's throat had gone dry. We are listening. You will restructure your government to include human representation proportional to our population and industrial capacity. You will share all technological databases and scientific research. You will establish trade agreements favorable to human interests. You will do this because we are asking nicely. And if we refuse? The question slipped out before Drexmore could stop it. Admiral Chen's voice returned, still pleasant, still conversational. Then we'll ask less nicely. We brought one ship. Today, Chancellor. We have 11,000 more in production. The transmission ended, leaving the council in absolute silence. Outside the station's viewports, the human ship waited patiently in the darkness, a steel reminder that the galaxy's understanding of power had fundamentally changed. The age of human weakness was over. The age of human mercy had begun, and the galaxy would learn to be grateful for the difference.